Oh, we got some good news for you guys today. For those of you that's been watching the channel for a while, you know that Addict is always 100% down when it comes to JRPGs. Final Fantasy, that's my shit. Persona, that's my shit. Probably shouldn't say shit so close to the entrance. It is what it can. If I get demonetized for this video, I get demonetized. But the point of the matter is I've always wanted Microsoft and Xbox particularly to really push more into this area. I've even said stuff like make Kojima like an ambassador that is responsible just for relationships between Japan and Microsoft, which is America. And you know, there's always tension between the two entities. Now, a lot of you said that they would never do something like that. And you was right. You know, someone like Kojima, he's a big fish. Most likely, he's not going to be able to do anything to that degree. But it looks like we got something a little bit on the same level. Maybe not necessarily as someone as Kojima, maybe even better. You know, Kojima has relationships. He's able to manage a studio. But we don't know how he would handle a role like that. But it's looking like Microsoft actually went over there and they jacked someone that used to work for Sony. Let's go over here to Twitter, man. As you can see here, former Sony executive joins Xbox to lead Japanese partnership operations. Mina Seto Kato was previously the vice president of mobile business for Sony. Now, clearly, you know, mobile business and Xbox is two different things, but we'll keep going. What you need to know. She worked previously at the vice president of the mobile business for Sony Interactive Entertainment. She was with Sony for 8 years before leaving in 2021. And according to an announcement on her LinkedIn, she has been hired by Xbox as the director of partnerships in Japan as part of the gaming ecosystem organization. She lists on her LinkedIn that she is responsible for leading partnerships for Japanese publishers at Xbox. Now, clearly Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond got no problem using those miles to go over there to Japan over and over again. But one of the reasons that I really suggested them get someone like Kojima is because Kojima's always over there. They need someone that is over there, that lives over there, that they trust, and that the public trusts them. And you know, and once again, even if they do everything they're supposed to, Microsoft needs to do what they're supposed to as well. Xbox needs to be supportive to the Japanese market. They need to do whatever they can to make it as appealing as possible to be on the Xbox platform and the Xbox ecosystem in general if you're a Japanese publisher. I feel like that's why this individual was hired. You know, they need someone that's constantly have foot on the ground, that's always interacting with, you know, that part of the world. They need someone over there in their corner. And I feel like there has been people in their corner over there, but they've never had someone to this degree. You know, they literally hired this person to do what I said Kojima needed to do. You know, establish relationships, and not only establish, because you can establish relationships. Microsoft and Xbox have done it multiple times. Like, for instance, they just did it with Square Enix. Establishing a relationship is important, but you know what's just as important, if not more important? Maintaining those relationships. What's the point in going for all this if you end up losing the relationship throughout years because it's just bad communication or just, you know, your priorities change? I think Microsoft definitely has 100% of their focus on the Japanese market. They want to get more of that, those Personas, those Final Fantasies, those Dragon Quests, those Yakuzas. They want those games on their platform. It's just relationships is extremely important in the gaming industry. And I'm hoping this individual actually helps them keep those relationship barriers open, you know, because clearly at any time the Square Enix communication thing can blow up in smoke. It's already happened before. For those of you who don't know, I think in like 2019, they announced all the Game Pass, all Final Fantasies going to Game Pass day and date. And not only did they all go into Game Pass day and date, it was after that that we started seeing games like Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy 7 remake and Rebirth. Remake was already announced. That was probably already given, but there was supposed to be a timed exclusivity that was supposed to come over eventually, and we never ended up seeing that timed exclusivity close. It just seemed like it was always on PlayStation. You know, Rebirth, it seems like it's an exclusive to PlayStation. You know, there's a lot of things that go into this. We saw Final Fantasy 16 exclusive, and I think that's the biggest thing. It's like individuals like this, you know, Mana, she's going to constantly be checking in with these people, hopefully, and just double check that, look, there are going to be games that miss Xbox, but they need people over there making sure it is not a lot. Microsoft cannot be a diverse library if they're missing an important genre like JRPGs. People love this genre. People have been completely in the roots of this genre. There was a time where I felt like this genre took over the industry again. Now, I will say that, you know, their importance has went down a little bit, but not much. You know, there is Western division. I think it used to be like Western was way up here. Japanese role-playing games was up here. And then it kind of like started to finally level out. And I think that's where we are at now. We're like right here where they're not necessarily, some years one's more important than the other. And that's just if like a big game's coming out. Like I would consider Starfield a big Western game that, you know, puts that whole genre a little bit above JRPGs. But then next year when Rebirth comes out, it's going to rebalance itself. It's like a beacon beam or whatever you call those things, balancing beam. And I just want to know, it don't even have to come to Game Pass. I know a lot of you want it on Game Pass, and I feel you. But I want it on my platform. I don't care about Game Pass. I want to be able to know that I don't have to buy a PlayStation, which I already have a PlayStation, but you wouldn't have to get a PlayStation for stuff like Dragon Quest, stuff like Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. I know they're making a Final Fantasy 9 remake, and it's supposed to be more like Final Fantasy 9, which I'm really excited about. You know, there's a rumor about Final Fantasy Tactics being remade. I want to be able to know that I have the platform to be able to play those games on. You know, I'm a huge person when it comes to an ecosystem. I like the achievements. I like, you know, the deals I get. There's a lot of things that's very appealing on the Xbox ecosystem. And Japanese role-playing games have always lacked on it. But I feel like I can honestly say in the past like 6 months to a year, you really see Microsoft has not only went above and beyond, but they're backing up the truck as well. They're getting these games in the Game Pass. They're getting these games day and date in the Game Pass. Remember, Persona 3 and Tactics, both are coming in the Game Pass day and date with their counterparts. And I think stuff like that is what's really going to drive that market on Xbox. And at the end of the day, I think the biggest thing that they need to do and the best next step is to get like a, you know, a Sega, maybe not even a Sega, just have some exclusives. Talk to Mistwalker. You know, I personally would like that. There's a lot of things you can do to really captivate and show that market, not only to your Western viewers, but to the people that live in that side. Like, we are in this with you. We are investing our own funds into your ecosystem, into your society. We want this to succeed just as much as you do. And that's pretty much all for the video, guys. I appreciate all the support you guys have been giving me. Put in the comment section below, do you think this is going to help Microsoft when it comes to navigating these really weird lanes when it comes to Japanese role-playing games? I'm definitely curious to hear you guys' opinion down there. And until next time, this is Gaming Addict. I'm out of here. Peace. I'm going to have some Starfield coverage tomorrow. How you like that?